Hi all. How about something like a thought for the day? Like food for thought, for health and survival. I know that a lot of you have seen my video, The Nightmare of the Wood Chips, or Wood Chip Nightmare. And as you can see, he still has the wood chips. But you know, this is what I wanted to show and talk about real quick. Kind of like food for thought. Let's see if we can zoom in here and see all this. See this hillside we have here? He's planted elephant food all along here, and there was a lot of jade plant, which he is pulling out. The reason he put the elephant food in is because it's edible. And what he has now started to do the past year or so is start changing anything, not everything, but a lot of things that are not edible into edible plants. Will I eat elephant food? I've tasted it. I'm not crazy about it. But in case of a catastrophe and there was no food, we have food. We can eat it. We could survive very, very well on it. The garden down there that my husband's building and working on, I should say, and all the wood chips, that was nothing but dust, like a dust bowl down there. You couldn't grow anything. It had been tilled once, and I don't know what the people had done before, dug everything out. There was no topsoil. What I wanted to say on this as food for thought is we did not have a garden 3 years ago. We had a piece of land that he was storing stuff on. He likes to collect metal, and that's what he was using the land for. He was trying to bring back some of the avocado trees on this part of the land that were pretty much dead, which are now coming back. And he was just doing little bits and little things like that. But we also were not in the greatest health. And I don't consider us that old. He was running to the doctor constantly. I was going with him. They were testing for allergies and seeing what he's allergic to. He wasn't feeling well off and on. He was aching, and their answer for him was more meds, more meds, more meds. He's allergic to different plastics, they said. Finally, they said he was allergic to grass. But their answer was always more meds. So now, I should take a video of that, because we still have the old meds, which I'm getting rid of. We ended up with a cupboard of old meds. But I digress. Let me go back. I think what happened was he got sick of being sick. I was going to the doctor too. My hands were hurting. I type, I do artwork, I do a lot of stuff. Their answer was more meds. You have arthritis. I said, well, how do you know? And they x-rayed and they said, both your hands have arthritis in it. They knew because both my pinkies, both my fingers on both hands were very sore. So I said, well, I want to get rid of it. He said, sorry, you can't get rid of the arthritis. You're getting older. You just have to learn to live with it. That's their answer. Go to more doctors and more doctors. Same thing. You have stomach pains because you're getting older. You're aching all over because you're getting older. So maybe in some respect, I just let it go. I wasn't into meds, so a lot of times I just couldn't walk. So they did surgery on one of my knees. And then they said, do the other knee, and we'll fix that knee. I went back to the doctor after I had my knee surgery and said, you know, I've got a staircase I've got to go up and down every day, and I can't. What am I supposed to do? And he said, oh, you're done with stairs. You can't do stairs anymore. I said, I thought you fixed my knee. He said, no, I took the nerves out of the inside of the kneecap so it won't hurt you anymore. Lovely. So this is their answer, is either surgery or medication. But my husband couldn't take it. And I think in such desperation of not wanting to be sick, he finally hit the internet. Now, I got myself a new computer 3 years ago because I thought there was something wrong with it. Turned out it was my program. But that worked out good. Because what happened was he decided to use it. I set it up for him. He said he will never use it. And I set it up anyways. I said, it's there. And he went on YouTube. He found Paul Gauci. He all about wood chips. He found John Kohler. He started watching these people religiously. And that's when all of a sudden, all these wood chips started coming in. I mean, everywhere. I've got them up here. It was a nightmare. That's why I did the video. It was a total nightmare. I didn't know what in the world my husband was doing. I thought he had lost his mind. Besides being ill, I thought he lost his mind. He's bringing in all these wood chips. So he explained to me he wanted me to watch these videos. I told him I didn't have time, but he said it was important. We need to watch the videos. So he started watching the videos, and he told me he's going to change the property. He's going to bring in all the wood chips he can. He's going to create new topsoil, and we're going to plant food. And I'll be honest, we used to eat out all the time. We went to all the buffets. He loved buffets, and he'd come home sick. We'd go to IHOP. He'd come home sick. We'd go to Disneyland when my grandkids were little. We had a pass. It used to be cheap back then. You could pick it up for $150 a year. Now that's out. It's like $800-900. But used to take them, and I'd eat their big bowl of sourdough soup there, and I kind of would be okay. I wasn't that great, but he would come home sick. But about 2 years, because it has only been about 2 years. So 2 years ago, he decided he wanted to bring in the wood chips, and that's when he was doing the truck. He brought in his own little pickup truck. He found the guy locally that had brought in and literally had a huge mountain in his yard. He covered his own property too out here because it was so bad. And he had all this extra because he said he'll take all they've got. And that's when he started bringing in his wood chips from the guy. And of course, you know the story, how I ended up getting it for him all he wanted. But he was determined not to be crazy with the wood chips. He was determined to try to change his life. And while he was doing the wood chips, I was watching a show on TV, and they were talking about people that had gluten sensitivities. And I said to him, wow, it kind of sounds like you. You know, he didn't even question it. He said the next day, I don't want any more gluten. I have nothing to lose. I have nothing in my life to lose to cut it out. It isn't going to cost me a penny. Try it for a couple weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks. No difference. He'll go back to bread and everything. He knew in 3 days that his life has now changed. So now he had gluten out of his diet. He no more stomach pains. And as the time went on, there was no more inflammation. Now he was more determined. You think the wood chips were bad then. That's why he was more determined, and still is determined, to bring in everything he can to change the soil. And of course, I told you here, there was nothing. You've seen the videos here. You couldn't grow anything. The people before here couldn't grow anything. Nobody's going to go spend thousands of dollars on potting soil and garden soil to keep bringing in. But anyways, this is why he decided to go into gardening. Because he saw a change just getting off of gluten. Now, we're not vegans. We do eat meat, very little. A little chicken here and there, or fish. That's pretty much it. But he was determined to change his life, and he still is. He does not touch anything, any type of bread product, nothing with wheat, rye, spelt, or barley. He's done with it. He won't touch it. He said, why should he eat something that's going to make him feel miserable? Oh, and all the medication that he had and then he had to keep up with? 0. Not one type of medication does he take. Nothing. So how can you fault somebody for that? I eventually, and it took me a little longer because I'm a cook. I love cooking. So it was no problem cooking for him and cooking for me. I decided I might as well get off the wheat too. And shortly after he got off, I eventually just started cooking the one meals for him and me. And I found out I don't need any more medication. I don't have any more arthritis. The knee surgery that I was scheduled for the right knee, because I'd already done the left knee, That's canceled. That's gone. I don't have any problems with that. The staircases, forget it. I can fly up those staircases. Can you believe by changing your diet? No, I don't want to say you, me. By changing my diet, I now can fly, literally run up and down those staircases. I do not need any more knee surgery. There's no more inflammation. Do I screw up sometimes? Yeah, I did. I went somewhere recently, and without thinking, I ate their vegetables, and so did my husband, and it tasted so good. It was not gluten. We forgot about the soy and the gluten flour that restaurants add in for a thickener. Boy, did I pay for that. That took me 2 weeks to get out of my system. My knee blew up. My hands were hurting. I felt miserable. It's gone now, but it took 2 weeks. My husband, not as long. He didn't eat probably as much as me. So, as far as growing our own food, growing our own greens, growing our tomatoes, this is why we do it. We do it for our health. We don't eat out anymore. That was the one party we had gone to. We ate out. We don't eat out. There's no reason. In fact, he likes my food better. He likes eating at home. We take no medication. I don't take any more blood pressure medication. Right now I'm not on any cholesterol medication. My cholesterol used to be 350. It's down to 170. It, fluctuates a little bit, but it's not bad. I don't take any more pills. I don't need any more heavy medication at all. So this is why we do not eat out, and this is why he brought in all the wood chips. It did change our lives. They are breaking down here. They've been in here almost 2 years now. They've broken down to the point where a lot of these plants are in the wood chips now. The dinosaur kale right now is in the wood chips. The broccoli is growing in the wood chips. The fig trees in the back are growing in the wood chips. I've got both. I throw pots there, but keep in mind, a lot of my pots on the ground. See if we can zoom in back here. Those are open bottoms. I cut the bottoms out. This way when I water, because I love to hand water, it's kind of relaxing. I know the water's going directly to the plants that I have planted in the pots. I do pots and pots. This blue container here has no bottom. Well, that pot sitting there inside there, there's no bottom on that either. But when I water this, I know that the water is going directly to the plants, and then it can go wherever it wants after that. So that was the point I wanted to make. We had some people come over, and they looked around, and it was so funny. They came into the kitchen, they looked in the cupboard, I heard them whisper, "They're preppers. Look at their cabinet." I had 100 bags of sugar in there. So they figured we're preppers. I guess in some way we are, but I actually bought that for the hummingbirds because they were not blowing them out. They had a big sale, and it was all the sugar you wanted, 4-pound packages for 99 cents. So I took 100 bags. But the thing is, he is kind of a prepper now. He is prepared for anything pretty much. He stores water. We've got all our plants. If something happened today and they said there was no food, we would be set. Absolutely set. Not only do we have our garden, and our garden here in Southern California grows all year round. I'm going to try to document it every month. But he's covered the hillside with elephant food. And all that elephant food is 100% edible. So I would be making gourmet meals out of that, I guess. He's got yams. His whole garden bed down there on one side is all nothing but sweet potatoes. And as long as they're in the ground, he can pull them up any time. We've got our trees. We've got the squash grows here all year round. I thought I was going to store squash this past year. I still have all that. Ugh, too much squash. So just food for thought. If you've got an area and you're not sure what to plant, go find some stuff that is edible. In case of an emergency, you've got food. And if you do have any aches and pains and you're not sure what it is, you have nothing to lose to try something new. Nothing to lose. I mean, it's not unhealthy to cut weed out, so why not try? He tried, then I tried, It's made 100% difference. So that was basically it. Just wanted to kind of put my 2 cents in for the day. This has changed our life. And we love gardening. We love the way we feel. Thank goodness I do love to cook, but I cook really quick things. Things are so simple and fast. And I do share it with the dogs, so on certain times I don't put any of our onions in, or I make 2 batches, one for them and one for me. So keep it in mind, just think about it. If you've got some aches and pains, especially, swelling in the joints and stuff, it could be something as simple as getting rid of gluten. Some people get rid of dairy. I haven't really done that yet. Some people get rid of sugar. More power to them. But I started with gluten. We have cut our sugar back tremendously because we eat so many greens. And there's so many things you can do with it. I'll have to kind of show you maybe some of the stuff I do with it. So that was it. I wanted to kind of touch base on, are we preppers? We're city preppers. What can we do? We're in the city. We're prepping as much as we can. Somebody asked us, do we eat our rabbits that are wild and our squirrels? No, I'm not there yet. But you know what? If, goodness gracious, something happened and there was nothing in the stores, nothing to eat, I guess in case of an emergency, we would. And I'll be honest, the first thing I would do is probably get the rabbits and the squirrels, probably start with the ground squirrels, never tree squirrels, the ground squirrels, and do that for the dogs, because the dogs would never understand why there's no food. That's the only thing. I actually know some people that trap squirrels and eat their own squirrels, but I'm sorry, they don't eat them. They cook them up for the dogs. Their neighbor ate it because somebody came over. He was barbecuing a squirrel. No, we do not eat her. I love my wildlife. I prefer to have the wildlife around, especially the rabbits and the birds and the skunks. So we're fine with the vegetables and stuff, but that was it. There's just different food for thought, food for health, food for survival. And I think that's important. So, as a closing thought, as I always say, don't forget to eat what you grow. We eat as much as we can. We don't eat everything, and some people said it's a waste. Well, my family and friends do take, and whatever's left, it goes right back into the ground because I compost in place, and it refeeds the plants. So it's all a circle of life in here, and it works out good. Everybody, please have a wonderful day, and give it some thought, and don't forget to eat what you grow.